All right, I think we are live. Are we live on everything yet? We're almost live. Facebook is still loading. YouTube is live. Facebook, we're still waiting. It's going to take a moment to load up. Oh, we're going to let it go. Come on now. Why is the Facebook not loading? It's trying. It says live video is starting. I'm just going to go ahead and start talking though. In the meantime, hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just getting my morning bike cardio done. Thought I would chat with you, lovely guys and gals, this morning. We already did over an hour on the walking, but now it's time to get all this bike cardio done, right? Because this is always going to be the majority of it now with everything that we are doing. So again, just going to keep knocking it out. But yeah, we got an hour and 10 minutes on the walk this morning. So I don't know why the Facebook is not loading yet. I don't know why it's doing that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to end that and I'm going to try to restart it. Right? We're going to try to restart it and give it one more try. Right? We're going to give it one more try here. We will get it going. But in the meantime, I'll chat with you lovely people here in the Facebook. Did we make this public? There we go. We're getting people in finally. So we're going to try this again. All right. One more time. All right. It did that to me yesterday too. I don't know why exactly it did that. But we're going to try it again. Maybe it doesn't like the multiple tabs open. But hopefully the YouTube picks up here also. Again, as guys noticed in the walk this morning, I'm not even addressing nonsense anymore. I'm at a point where anything just nonsense, I just ban it. Don't make a single sound and we move on. We don't even give people a reaction. Right? There's no point even giving them a reaction. But for those chiming in on the Facebook, also I'm streaming in YouTube. I'm streaming in Facebook. We're getting our fasted morning cardio done. So I'm hoping we get a nice, solid, good, positive stream. We're going to keep everything, fitness related, going to stay on point. And yeah, should just be a fun time for all, right? Happy times for everybody. And again, I'm going to keep it entirely fitness related. We need to keep it PG-13 also. We need to keep it PG-13. But again, we'll see what we get for people chiming in. It looks like it's going to be a little slow for now. I think that means on the YouTube, you guys know what that means. That means we need to go over to the community tab and we need to let people know that we are in fact live, right? And let people know that we are live. And that will put it into people's feeds too. So that's what we need to do. That will usually make it appear. There we go. We got the first like. Well, we're getting the people flowing in. As soon as I hit that just now, I put it into the community tab. I think it kicked into people's feeds. Let's see how the Facebook is going. Facebook is real slow still. It's all good. As long as when those get stars, that adds up real fast. Yeah, I feel like we had a pretty good walk this morning. A nice, solid stream in the walk. Some of the regulars, all my British people were in here. They're my regulars. Shoulders are on point today. Really happy with yesterday's training overall. Feel like the benching is doing well. That's a thing that comes up too. I feel like now that the training volumes are reasonable, I feel like with all the cardio, the way I'm eating, the ridiculous amount of vegetables, antioxidants, all the list cardio, I feel like this general health improvements are probably just improving my training recovery. And I think also by me lifting every other day, only doing 3 days a week, the time off between sessions really is allowing for great recovery. And I feel like all the list cardio itself, turns into active recovery, right? It turns into active recovery itself also. So there is that to factor in. I feel like that's improving the benching strength. But really happy with my bench press yesterday. That is the strongest bench press I've ever had in my 40s while weighing under 220. And it's just coming along really well. We're in the middle of a cut, while doing large amounts of cardio. So I'm very, very happy with that. But again, hopefully we get some questions and comments and engagement soon. All right. Hopefully we get more happening so that I get actual topics that you people want to discuss. Like I said, we had a lively walk though. We had a couple hundred, looks like over 200 questions in the morning walk. So I think once people see this in their feed, it will pick up a little bit more once people realize we got a stream going. And then once the YouTube stream is going, I'll have plenty of questions. We'll have content then for the Facebook, because people who are listening in there can always hear that later. But for now, we're just getting this warmed up. But again, this is second cardio session. I was up before 5 a.m., out walking in the dark, getting the fresh air. Now the sun is up, we're good. The thing is with the walking, number one, I start running into connectivity issues though later in the mornings, right? That's a big problem. The other issue with it, of course, I can't double stream, I can't stream on multiple platforms, so that's a thing too. I wonder why we're not seeing much yet on the Facebook. I may want to hop over and get my profile going as well. I might want to get the profile going here too. So that's always good. Get even more outreach, because then people realize I'm in there, then a lot of the followers will hop over to the other one also. All right, they'll hop over. That's always a good thing. Let's get this up and running also. All right. So I'm gonna get my profile flowing as well. So there we go. I'm also on my Facebook profile. Hey everybody, good morning. Sitting here getting my morning bike ride done. I'm streaming on 3 different platforms at the same time. So we got YouTube fitness page, Facebook fitness page, and then my Facebook profile. So just getting this done. The YouTube's really slow. It was going up. Oh, there we go. We started off, very first comment was a super chat. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, brother. So let me get straight to your question. Good morning, coach. Weight down 230 from 270. Bench 225, squat 135, dead 220, trying to better myself. Hey, Felty, first of all, I absolutely appreciate that super chat. I love it when the stream starts off with something like that. It's always good. Good for me. Makes me feel happy. But I'm glad that you are seeing results. So you're down 40 pounds body weight. You're benching 2 plates. You're deadlifting 2 plates. Let's keep working on that squat, man. So here's the thing I'm going to tell you. Good work, first of all. Congratulations, 40 pounds of weight loss and lifting weights. You're off to a great start. It's going to improve every aspect of your life. Okay? It's going to improve every aspect of your life. Secondly, I will say, keep working that lower body stuff. Get that squat and that deadlift up, and it's going to continue to make your weight loss even easier, right? It's going to make it even easier. It's going to help you tremendously there, right? Because it's going to keep improving your metabolic rate, your energy turnover. It's going to make it easier. All right, let's get over to Morgan Pound. How much better do you think a seated incline curl versus a seated supinated curl? Man, we could argue this all day long. I don't know that it's tremendously better, but I mean, hypothetically, that stretch reflex may be worth something. It's going to be worth something anyway that you break it down. But the question becomes, guys love to ask stuff, how much better? Well, we can't quantify that. I mean, I could make up an answer and say, approximately 7.3%. We don't have evidence of that. We could speculate the stretch reflex may be worth a little more hypertrophy. But once we start talking about multiple sets, does this stuff even matter? This is the problem we run into with better, best. Does this give more stimulus? Well, maybe if we're doing one set with reps in reserve, hypothetically the better exercise. If you only did one set for the whole week and didn't do it, see what I mean? And you left a couple reps in the tank, it may give better stimulus. Sure. But when we start doing 3-4 sets to failure, 6 sets in a week to failure of an exercise, let's say you're doing it twice a week, practically speaking, probably no difference. Practically speaking, probably no difference at all. Again, if we're going to be completely honest about these things, right? Evan just saw you chime in on Facebook. He's a Sigma boy, and you're looking giant, my guy. Hey, man, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the shout out there, and thank you for dropping through. Hey, Evan, I'm streaming on 3 different platforms, though. If you've got any fitness-related questions, this is the time to ask them. I'm going to be sitting in here for an hour riding my bike, chatting with people on all my platforms at the same time. I got 3 streams going. If you got any questions or need any fitness advice, man, you got me. Right now, this is free Q&A. This is not you don't got to pay for a consultation for this. This is just straight up free questions, man. I'm just going to pop down the road because they start picking up later. I might get hundreds of them. But while it's still a little slow, good time to get any of your questions in, man. It's a real good time. All right. Felty says, thank you, Coach. You're welcome, Felty. Like I said, the YouTube is slow, but we already started off with a super chat. So I'll take that. All right, I'll take the win there any way it breaks down. Especially as an off day for training. I'm going to be doing a lot of streams when I'm not lifting this morning. I do have a client call this afternoon, though. We do got a client call. Also, I should probably, speaking of that, because people see all this stuff later, I got to remember to link all my coaching stuff in my Facebook. All right, I keep forgetting to do that. It would behoove me to do so. All right, I got to remember to do that. So, there we go. All right. Not much happening on the Facebook profile. I might wind that down because there's nobody in here yet, and then I'll do a second one later. So let me wind this one down, turn it into a reel because it likes that for my badges every week. It wants me to do reels. All right, it's just really big on, hey, let's do a reel. We want you to do 15 reels this week. All right. Turn it into a story. We want to pay you for stories. Very strange. All right, let me plug all this back in. Keep this phone charging. It's still not fully charged from the morning walk. All right. Man, that's really interesting that the YouTube is so slow, even though we kicked off with a super, I put in the thing, it's slow. The morning one was really good, the walk. So I don't know what's up. But hey, we started with a super chat. Hopefully on the Facebook, some of my regulars chime in, they'll see it, get everything flowing. But yeah, we literally only get 3 comments, but one of them is a super, hey man, I'll take it though. But what's weird, you think YouTube tends to kind of want to kick people out into the feeds more, when there's a super chat already, because they make money on that. YouTube acting a little funny this morning. Well, that's all good. We can be funny with them too. Few more views trickling in. Also, the guys in here viewing, click the like. The more engagements, it will kick it into people's feeds more. Right? It'll kick it into people's feeds. They'll get the little alert. People may not be getting the alert. I don't know. But Morgan's in here. Morgan, did you get the alert? Or did you just kind of see it? Felty, hey man, appreciate it. We got another super, man. Just coming along. Well, that always helps. For beginners on deads and squats, what should my sets and rep goals look like each session? How close to failure? Hey Felty, I have multiple free novice programs. Go to my whole playlist for go to the Ice Cream Fitness 2.0. Since you're in a weight loss phase, I have a whole playlist for the Ice Cream Fitness 2.0. I break down entire progressions on that, but I really like for novices, I like 3x5 on the squat and 1x5 on the deadlift. And I usually recommend doing perfect form, adding 5 pounds every workout until you struggle to get the fives. And then you need to reduce the weight 10% and kind of repeat the process. Like this works great if you're not being coached one-on-one and you just need a progression pattern. So it's kind of what we call linear progression, to where you add weight every workout. And as soon as you're struggling to complete, the fifth rep, you reduce the weight 10% and then keep going from there. And that works really well. As long as your form and everything is good, right? It will tend to work really, really well. So it's usually what I advocate. Felty, I also do have coaching slots open though, if you need coaching. If you want coaching with it, I do have multiple coaching slots open, and I do virtual coaching. It's technically my full-time job at this point. It is my career. All my social media for quite a few years has been a secondary, job for me. But it feeds the coaching. But I have slots open if you need one-on-one help. All right. And you may not, but it's all good, brother. It's all good. But I absolutely appreciate those supers. So that's coming along. That's flowing nice in here. Now, you would think that would get YouTube's attention and it would go into the feeds, but, we'll see. Facebook is still really slow. We only had one commenter. But, all good. But at least we're getting the cardio done. But no, I like sets of 5, but I only like one set for novices on the deadlift, one set. The 3x5 works really well. So instead of how close to failure, you just progress it linearly, and when it gets difficult, you reduce the weight 10%. So you're always going to have a rep or two in reserve, usually on those, particularly as a novice. We're talking since it's squats and deadlifts. As a novice lifter, you don't want to be going to failure with those because the form tends to degrade way too much, and that's going to be a problem in terms of injuries. More advanced lifters can take those up to the bleeding edge or to failure sometimes. Again, once form is really, really dialed in, again, you don't want to fail those lifts with grindy bad form. All right. So, yeah, but again, go check it out. Like I would even, if you're not going to get coaching, my Ice Cream Fitness 2.0 is probably a really good fit for you in your current situation from what I'm reading in that first post. It'd be really helpful to you. Yeah, man, appreciate the supers. Good way to start a stream off. All right. They add up. All right, they absolutely add up. Thank you so much. You're most welcome, Pelty. So again, there's a whole playlist on my channel. So if you check the playlist, there's a whole playlist for that program, complete with full description and videos, full breakdown of just the form on the lifts. Like everything's in one spot there. For people looking for a free novice program, it's a pretty comprehensive playlist. And that one's free, dude. I don't charge for that. It's just there. I made it years ago. It's about eight or 9 videos in the series, including the breakdown of the program, and then all the individual exercises have their own videos. All right. What we got going on Facebook? Just people watching. It's not much happening. They're just kind of viewing. They're lurking. We got the lurkers on Facebook. YouTube's kind of kicking off supers there really well so far. That's when Dean needs to come in and start matching supers. Dean does that sometimes. He's funny. He's like, I'll match y'all supers. Let's match super for super. And he starts doing it. He creates a contest. Rufio, what's up? How you do? Rufio, this has been a super slow stream, but it's been really good super chats with no viewers. Let's get the regulars. Rufio, did you just see it pop up just now? Like, I don't think it's going into feeds. I put it on the community tab though. I put that carnivore tag thing in the end though, because that tends to attract them after they get all mad and they come over. Man, they're so crazy cult like. Good to see some super chats. There we go. We need the super chats. All right. Yep. Always good to see the super chats. Oh, now the likes are kicking up. So I think once a regular sees it, it starts hitting other streams. There we go. Views, likes are coming up. Took 20 minutes. But, you know, they are there. Now we just need the same thing to happen on Facebook. I need people to jump in and start dropping stars. You didn't get a, oh man, I wonder why it didn't do a notification. Why is it not notifying? Yeah, hit the like button. I don't know why it's not notifying people. I even put it in the community tab. So, you know, we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. You know, what do you do? Where's Peppermint? I don't know. Maybe he hasn't seen it. Maybe it's not popping up. People aren't getting the little bell. They're not getting the bell. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. All right. I don't even know how all that works, the notifications. I don't personally understand it. Right. So how about you, Rufio? What are you training? You training anything today? Man, no other questions. We just had a couple comments on Facebook and they dropped out. They're just lurking. But, you know, those views add up. How was it? It was pretty good, actually. I ran an hour and 10 minutes. I did a walk. It was actually pretty solid, decent views. I did a 5 kilometer. There you go. Nice. Of course, I put my running shoes in the Amazon wish list. I'll see if anyone buys them. I thought about trying free running though, right? I live without shoes. Imagine coach out there running barefoot. Oh, the hate we would get. Coach is out there promoting people running barefoot and he's going to hurt people. He's going to get people worms. People are going to get worms because of Coach Blaha. Then they'll be blaming me. They'll be like, I got a tapeworm by imitating Blaha running bare feet. Don't follow him. He causes parasites. That would be the new hate from my haters. Blaha was running barefoot and I imitated it and I got parasites. All right. I got worms in my tubes because of taking Blaha's advice. I got parasites as big as my arm because of him. That's how it would go down. That's literally how it would go down. There'd be a whole documentary on Blaha causing parasites. Awesome. Hey, Felty, I appreciate the supers, man. That's like 3 in a row. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I bookmarked the ice cream playlist. I'm going to hit legs and I'll get some squats. Have a good day, coach and community. Hey, man, I appreciate it. You have a great day also, Felty. Thank you so much. You live rent-free in their heads. Pretty much, Rufio. I live rent-free in people's heads. That'll be the thing, though, man. Blaha promotes running barefoot to give us parasites, and then he promotes carbohydrates that feeds them. He's the parasite king. That would be the whole new thing. Again, there'd be a whole hate documentary of people getting up and giving their little screenshots anonymously of how they got parasites following my advice. I'm telling you, it would be a whole thing, dude. It would be a thing. I followed his advice and I got tetanus. I got a nail in my foot. And I got worms in my tubes. Had to get a tetanus shot and had to be dewormed because of Blaha. They would be hating me all the time. We got people promoting eating 0 vegetables and living on steak and butter, and they're not hating on them. You know, you can't make this stuff up. Well, they do, but you know, you can't. I don't know, man. People are crazy. People are crazy. They're from crazy town. They live in crazy town. When you're in crazy town, you got to get down. Right? Crazy town. Get down. Get down. Get down. In crazy town. All right. Now that's actually how I am in real life. So everyone who knows me goes, there's the real Jason. That's the real Jason Blaha right there that we have known for 30 years. They'd be like, you're not really, I really am. It's like, dude, just be singing songs randomly and walk around doing Cat Williams imitations and stuff out of nowhere. We'll try to have a serious conversation. And he actually is talking about something serious and just starts singing. All right. Hey, Coach. Back then you said there's some good research to support. What do you mean? I mean, what are you doing with them? Are you talking about stuff like UD 2.0? No, I've never believed in carb cycling. Carb cycling, no. I've always said carb cycling is silly. Are we talking about recomp type stuff from stuff like UD 2.0 that Lyle did, to where people are running close to protein sparing modified fast and then carb up like with 6,000 calories of all carbs once a week? That's what we were talking about, right? That can be a viable strategy, but it's extreme. And there was data on that. But I mean, keep in mind, these are very extreme dietary approaches, Chad. I'm trying not to promote these most extreme things. It's not that they can't work or that they're not evidence-based. I've never promoted carb cycling, so you've confused me with somebody else. I have always said carb cycling doesn't make any sense. But if you're talking the extreme refeeds on the extreme deficits of all carbohydrate refeeds once a week, that actually works. But that doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't work for people who are in a small deficit. So we're talking about grown men with a 1,500 calorie deficit per day for 6 days type stuff. Does that make sense? To where you're living on almost all protein and vegetables, like maybe a 1,500 calorie diet as a 200-pound man. And then once a week eating like a 6,000 calorie, almost all carbohydrate day with nearly 0 fat. That sort of thing can work, and there's evidence for that. But do you really want to do something that extreme? And that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, I mean, it's totally workable, but why do we need the things that are that extreme? Why can't we just do normal balanced diets? Why can't we just do a little bit of fasted cardio? Why do we need to go to these extremes? Now, carb cycling has never been an effective, it still just works if you're just in a calorie deficit. There's no actual purpose to the carb cycling itself biologically. So I've never believed in that concept. It's simply just an organization strategy that some people prefer. The other is a very extreme situation that I described, is what we were talking about with the high carb refeeds, right? What about 1,000 calorie deficit going? I mean, in theory, you could. But again, those refeeds need to be all carbohydrate, right? If you went that approach. I mean, Chad, you could certainly do that approach. But I would also question how do I put this? You could just as easily run a slightly smaller deficit every week. Because you're not really, I mean, you're like, you're going to regain some muscle. Are you really, though? This donut fitness going to throw me. Donuts over clean is going to throw me a few bucks. I have as of yet to see it. And Donut, I'm not saying you're not doing okay now, but eventually the arterial plaque is going to be a problem. I mean, you do you, bro, and I'm still going to keep calling it out. But you know, I'm concerned though for your long term on the arterial plaque. I really am. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to be a troll or to be hateful. When we start looking at some of that data, brother, but I'm not going to stand here and argue about it in here though, because I don't want to get in an argument and they end up banning you because you don't seem like a bad guy to me. So, but, you know, I'll throw you a few bucks. I don't know. I hadn't seen a super in here yet. Then watch him actually do it, and I'll be like, oh, he was serious. He wasn't. It's been a pretty good morning for super so far, though. Plus, I throw that in the title, Donut, because for some reason the carnivore people all freak out and come in later. It's almost like a magnet. Oh, hold on. I got a Facebook question. Hey, Coach, Dr. Mike Idrijo contradicts what you're currently saying. He still says we need to bulk to gain muscle. But we have plenty of evidence saying we really don't, Russell. We have plenty of studies. Look at all the data Minnow linked. Look at all, look at stuff that Minnow Hanselman's linked. Look at stuff Paul Carter's even linked in terms of studies, all these guys, with Minnow being himself an actual researcher, right? Minnow is a published researcher also, and he's linked lots of data on that. So Mike can say what he wants, but the evidence is not there. And most guys, again, let's set aside that Mike's target audience is enhanced bodybuilders. You have to understand Mike's target demographic is enhanced bodybuilders. Okay. He's got a different audience than other people. And yeah, if you're going to use 2 grams of test plus growth hormone and insulin, you're probably going to need to bulk because you're trying to get massive, right? You're going to have to do a serious bulk to go from 170 pounds to 240 pounds of jacked bodybuilder sooner or later. But for other people, it's no. So he can say what he wants, but the evidence doesn't support that position. Fair. Well done. He actually did it. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. This has, again, been a lively little productive morning for supers. Jake, this whole thing is about carb. This is just my stream. I threw that at the end because I do that to be funny. Unrelated to carnivore, do you prefer low bar or high bar squats? I'm trying to decide between the two. Low bar seems to strain my low back a bit, but works my hips more. Low bar shouldn't really be hurting your low back. Almost high bar seems like it puts more stress on the low back sometimes. Here's what I would say. If you find high bar to be more comfortable and you're not pursuing powerlifting itself, high bar is perfectly acceptable. For just general strength, hypertrophy, and performance, a high bar is a perfectly acceptable, really good squat, right? I'm not even hating the pure carnivore for some reason. My comments in your carnivore videos are snagging me clients, and I know that you disagree with each other on the topic. Yeah, we do, don't it? We seem to agree on lifting stuff, though, from what I remember, don't we? Like, we seem to kind of have, unless I'm mistaken you for someone else, I think we agree a lot on actual training, though. Right? Hey, my purpose, I don't know that they all work at all, necessarily. But they are all different protocols. But I guess that's the thing. Since you post positive stuff, people who are coming through as carnivores are seeing your stuff, so they're gravitating towards you. That's probably what's happening. Other people who are doing carnivore, they don't like me posting that, see you posting that, and they may be coming over to you for some coaching. So, by all means, it is what it is. I'm still going to keep speaking out on the carnivore because I think it's a bad idea. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Like how do I put this? I totally get the appeal, right? I mean, who in the hell doesn't like bacon, eggs, and steak? I mean, realistically speaking, if it was perfectly healthy and didn't affect my performance and it created beautiful blood work and no atherosclerosis concerns, like which is my biggest concern, I mean, I'd be over here doing steak, eggs, and bacon every day too. Because let's be realistic, it's delicious. You know, the problem is the blood work. The problem is the atherosclerosis. You know, that's my concerns. The problem is the gut biome. You know, I totally get that if a person's getting lean doing it and they enjoy it, I totally get the appeal, dude. I mean, again, bacon is delicious. Like we all know this. Like I think we all universally agree. Didn't know you could go on. Yeah, Russell, I'm doing both at the same time, man. They're running concurrently. That comment just disappeared. The guy asked a question, and I guess I gave an answer, and he deleted his own comment. That's all. You don't have to do that, bro. It's all good. On Facebook, I mean. Yeah, Russell. When I'm on my desktop, my computer lets me do it. So I literally right now, I have my desk bike set up with my webcam, my mic, my keyboard, my mouse set on my bike. Right, because I have the desktop bike, which you guys have seen. But yeah, Russell, I'm on both, man. A lot of supers today. They're just flowing along, brother. It's flowing in this morning. Good productive session. This is only my first bike live. I'm gonna do a second one at least here later. Coach, any tips for 2-a-day sessions, lifting AM, MMA, and the PM plenty of carbs? Here's what I'm gonna say. If you're gonna do MMA, don't lift that much. 3-4 days a week tops in the weight room. The best advice I can give you is, like you noted, plenty of carbohydrates in between, because you are doing 2 intense type trainings that are going to be glycogenic in nature, right? The MMA, that's going to burn through glycogen. The lifting is going to be very glycogen based. So making sure that you carb and hydrate between is really going to be the key, right? Electrolytes. So it's going to be hydration. So in this case, it's going to be making sure you're getting sufficient potassium, sodium, and carbohydrates between those sessions is the best thing you can do, right? And keep that in mind. So that's a case of we're not over here looking at, oh, what am I trying to do to get a lean or whatever? No. You got to be focusing on performance and recovery. If you're going to lift and do MMA in the same day, you have to be thinking in terms of recovery between glycogen replenishment, intramuscular hydration, right? But it sounds like you're like getting plenty of carbs and stuff between, should be fine. In the case of like that though, and something like that, this is where the high fiber carbohydrate doesn't always make as much sense, because you don't necessarily want the huge amount of fiber in your gut between. But if you're a high output athlete like that, it's a different situation. This is a case where white rice and potatoes kind of make a lot of sense, right? They make a lot of sense in that scenario. All right. Yep. Man, I feel like I need to pee, but I need to hold it. All this coffee while doing all this cardio. You know what, guys? I'm going to try it anyways. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to leave this going. I'll be 1 minute. All right, we are back. And that works really good. Thanks, Coach. Agree to respond better to white rice on training days and oatmeal. Yeah, in that context, that does make sense, right? So that's what I would consider there. You know. All right, man, that worked really well. We didn't have to restart a stream just to go use the restroom real fast. All right, good. So I didn't want to have to end the stream just because I needed to run to the restroom. Works beautifully. All right, but we are back. Now I can run this cardio a lot longer. This is a good stream. This should be hitting some decent views. All these supers, putting in the community tab, it will probably keep picking up. All right. YouTube does like that. Can you tell me again the research? Hey, Russell, literally just start looking for the last 20 years. Study after study after study after study after study after study, recomposition happens over and over and over and over and over. Like, you don't even need to go look at specifically for calorie intake or bulking. This is where you're messing up. Yes, there was one done earlier last year, a detailed study showing a 3% surplus caused as much muscle as a 10%, right? We all saw that study, and the 10% surplus only caused more fat gain. But set that aside and just go look at general hypertrophy research. I promise you, if you look, you can find at least 20 studies or more just digging through on trained lifters already who gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. Right? So instead of looking just for the studies on bulking, because they're not going to always study that, researchers don't believe you need to be standing around bulking anyways to gain muscle, because there's just no real evidence. But if you go through and look, you will find lots of studies where people stayed close to maintenance cap, or close to the starting body weight, either lost a tiny amount, stayed about there, or gained small amounts, where they gained muscle and lost fat concurrently. I promise you, if you dig, you could find at least 20 studies where this occurred. When you just look into the data on lifting, just lifting studies, right? So if you've been digging through research, you're aware of this. You can find at least 20. You might be able to find 40 or 50 if you really spend some time digging. Make sense? So if you're only looking at the calorie studies, you're not seeing the entire enormous bulk of evidence. Just go look at studies on muscle growth and training. It's kind of shocking how much of it is there. I mean, literally, sometimes we're talking sometimes advanced lifters. Like, there were some studies where you look at someone like, wait, they did a study on women whose average squat was over 100 kilograms. Okay, these were trained women. They all gained muscle and lost fats to some extent, or most of them during the study. When we pushed it, what? There's stuff like that all through there, right? The evidence that you can literally recomposition if you're not ripped all the time is present in study after study after study after study after study after study that are literally just looking at training. Right? And the very few that you find looking at this, like the one we had that was done last year, found that even a 10% surplus was almost entirely fat gain. We're talking eating a 50 calorie, 60 calorie a day surplus caused maximum muscle growth. And then all these others show recomposition. Then we see studies where when deficits are small, people still gain muscle if they train really hard. See what I mean? So it is the fact that recomposition is absolutely possible pretty much year round, unless you're shredded already. Then it's a different ballgame. All right, recomposition when you're 8% body fat, not so much. But when you're 15% body fat, you can recomp extremely effectively. Right? And we see it in the real world, and we see it in studies. The entire concept of the bulking is purely coming from guys getting big for football, heavier powerlifting way back in the day, or again, from guys doing lots of drugs. And I get it, it makes sense. Like if you're going to use 2 grams of test plus growth hormone and insulin, I get that you're going to want to gain a lot of body weight. But if you're a normal guy who's just training and you're just trying to get jacked, see what I mean? How much weight do you really think you need to gain to maximize your muscle growth on no drugs? How much muscle do you really think you're going to gain? Coaches spitting facts in advance after bulking is a complete waste and source of great frustration. If you strip the fact you're the same growth as a recomp, pretty much. Mustafa, what's going on, bro? We're streaming on both, by the way. So if you'll drop me some Facebook, I would appreciate it. Why did my camera just do that? That was weird. Finally on YouTube. Awesome, bro. Good stuff. But yeah, I'm streaming both platforms. Normally you're super active on the Facebook. I didn't see you in there. You were here first. All right. Yeah. Awesome, man. But yeah, we're having a really productive session today. Plenty of super chats. Views are a little low, but it's all good. I don't know what just happened. All right, can you guys see me? Did it kick me back in? That was a massive, massive error on the software side. Is it working? We're working again? Okay. It let me reconnect into this stream. It gave me a button to reconnect into it, but it had a big error. I don't know what happened. We don't want to lose this stream. We got good supers going. I don't know why it's so hard to add reps. Because you have to gain more muscle. All right, Mustafa, I want you again, think logically. You're doing 10 reps with 110 kilograms on the bench press. You're like, why is it hard to add reps? Because you're at an extremely advanced level. Like it shouldn't be a difficult concept to understand. You are at an extremely advanced level, right? You're doing like 15 kilograms more than your body weight per sets of 10 on the bench. And you're like, it's so hard to add reps. Well, yeah. So, but at that point, you may want to just obviously add more weight. A few weeks ago, I was struggling 100 kilograms. All right. Don't say stuff like that and start claiming natural though. So don't do that, please. Like you're going to out yourself. Like you may not want to admit to stuff like that. If you're going to market natty, everyone's going to know you're on significant amounts of drugs, by the way. Just to be careful there, Mustafa. Like don't put up drug progression and then try to sell natty. It's not going to work for you. Don't do it. I'm telling you as a dude who knows you. Like don't write stuff like that and admit to that. You need to say that took you 3 years. Okay, makes sense? You didn't do that a few weeks ago. You did it 2 years ago. This is how this works. Just telling you as a friend, dude. Yeah. So, all right. Oh man, we may have lost a lot of the stream because of that little snafu. Because the views went way down, even though it reconnected. But at least you can see it, so we know we're still running. I'll have to end this one soon, though, anyways. All right. Oh, well. Man, that just sucks. Hey, Mustafa, if you could post a lot of that on my Facebook, too, that would be super helpful. FYI. The Facebook is actually worth a lot more to me from an outreach than the YouTube is. like had every one of those like 20 comments been on my Facebook, it would have actually been super helpful. Like the YouTube doesn't pay me for comments, by the way. You know, it just helps boost the engagement a little. Like Facebook, like dude, someone asked making 15 comments at a Facebook Live is way, way more useful. I say that because you normally are in Facebook a lot, but you haven't been so far. Yeah. Facebook's my main platform, not YouTube. Yeah. 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 All right. Yeah, that's just weird. At least it's working again. It looks like people are coming back since the stream came back up. Yeah. There's no viewers at the moment in the Facebook. I wonder why that is. It was doing okay at first. But yeah, I don't know what happened with the cam there. It like just killed everything here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Facebook's a 50-minute deep stream and there's currently no viewers. One of the guys asked a good question. He deleted his question after I answered it. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Let me reply there. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting Facebook. Well, it looks like the YouTube views are picking back up after that little snafu. But at least it reconnected me back into the stream, so that's good. There is that. It only did that a long time ago before. It's the first time on the bike it's ever done their software actually crashed in the middle and let me reconnect. Okay, that was a weird one. But hopefully we get some more fitness related questions in there. Well, it's not equal to 10 pounds, but it's definitely worth some pounds. But I mean, you're talking about very high reps with moderately heavy weight on the bench, Mustafa. It's going to take time, right? It's going to take time. But yeah, if you posted the same number of comments in this Facebook you did in that YouTube, it would be phenomenal, right? Yeah. So there's a point where you may want to look at some of that and go, it's time to just start adding more weight to the bar, right? Because you're standing here struggling to, you're struggling to continue to add reps when you're already doing crazy reps by most people's standards on your bench. You're like doing sets of 10 with 110 kilos. That's like 240 pounds. There's a point where you need to go, hey, maybe I should keep adding some weight to the bar, right? Your chest will definitely grow from it. Humberly, would you consider 110 kilograms squat for 10 reps intermediate? Intermediate, probably. I don't know that it's advanced yet. No. But why are we doing that exactly? Because you figure that's close to about a 315, 325 max. So do you consider 3-plate squat to be advanced or intermediate? For most guys, it's going to be intermediate. Always want to do 15 reps on the bench. Yeah, see, but you're just beating into the fatigue at that point, Mustafa. There you go. Tell them to click that like button. All right. I may not run this one much longer though, guys, because we're going to hit the hour at least. But we'll do another one of these later, obviously, and I'll probably do some sled work at some point today. Click the like, tell them. Yep. Mustafa, be careful of telling people to do that on Facebook. They'll pop you if you're trying to create your own monetized profile. Don't ever use that word. There's words you never want to type. You never want to type the words like or follow ever on a professional page. Those are words you need to be extremely careful of, because their AI will pop you as a spammer, right? You don't ever want to use the words F for F. You don't want to use the words follower, like, and statuses or messages on other people's pages or in your own statuses on a professional Facebook page. You're going to find out real quick they close your page out and send you an email saying, hey, you're a spammer breaking the rules. We terminated your thing. Because it's called engagement bait. And then follow sharing is a violation of all the professional page rules. It's in the rules itself. So you got to watch codes for that. There's code words for that too they use, and they'll pick them out. There are words you've never heard of before, like a res backer or whatever. That means follow for follow. Right? So you got to be careful of those things. Like their AI will flag you. So it's an FYI. All right. You got to learn the rules, dude. Engagement baiting in general is a problem because there's so much money involved in Facebook. Do you like step ups? Yeah, they can be a good accessory. I mean, I have clients do them. I've done them, but I just squat and sled right now. But I mean, I certainly like them as an accessory, right? After squatting. Right. So remember, anytime you're dealing with Facebook, there's a lot of money in Facebook, but they want everything to be authentic engagement. They don't like any of the people who are trying to scam the system. Right. Michael over on YouTube says, thoughts on hybrid trend? I remember you being a fan of the other person, much more into mid-distance running, over hypertrophy strength work. No, I think we should be well-rounded. Like the whole hybrid thing is good. Like even me, I've been talking a lot about we need to be well-rounded. So even me, I mean, I do lots of cardio, but I mean, I've even been saying, if we go back to the old school bodybuilders, they were all physical enthusiasts, right? They were all like, we should be aesthetic, we should be athletic, we should have good conditioning, we should be strong, right? And I agree with that. If we're going to be fit, we should be looking at being well-rounded, honestly. I get it if you're trying to be number one in the world in a specific endeavor. Most people aren't trying to break world records in powerlifting. They're not trying to be on the Olympia stage. You're not trying to do these things. So generally speaking, I think we should all be well-rounded. We should all have a good physique. We should be lean, work on having abs. We should all have good, strong lifts. We should be able to hit a decent total. We should probably have a decent run time. I'm not running at the moment. If we're going to be objective, though, we should all be cardiovascularly fit. This is what we should be looking for. Yourself says I'm currently eating 500 grams of white rice every day with spinach, 800 grams of chicken breast. Allows you to fat yogurt. That's a lot more. That's probably more protein than you need, but it's helping keep you lean. So by all means, carry on. Mustafa. I'm eating less protein than that at this point. I just don't need it. You're probably eating double the protein I'm doing as of now. But yeah, no, Michael, I'm a fan of the whole idea of hybrid stuff, because are we talking about being power lifters, or are we talking about being fitness people? Are we truly fit? And that's one reason I'll give nods to CrossFit. There's some issues with CrossFit, but at least they've promoted that old school idea. All their competitors, you look at them, they're all jacked. They look good. They have good physiques. All the people up there competing in the CrossFit games, they're strong. They're conditioned. Like that is really what fitness should be. I mean, if we're really going to be frank about it, that is what fitness should be. We shouldn't be a bunch of insulin roid monsters. We shouldn't be strong and fat. We should be well-rounded. We should be athletic. We should be fit. We should be lean, but we should also be strong. And I think that we if we really want to be fit, we need all these attributes. Hey, Tim, where are we going with this? Did you not see the whole follow-up? Okay. Hey, Tim, you're one of the people who did exactly what I said was going to happen. I did the video and then I looked it up and I apologized to the guy and went into the detail and then laughed and said people would probably make hate videos and ignore the apology of me correcting myself on that. You're literally one of those people who is coming in pretending I didn't apologize for that right after in the same video when I looked it up. So you're a troll. Get out of my channel. All right. Yeah. Would you be more impressed by a person with a big three, not by powerlifting standards, who can run a fast mile? Say a Jack Strong guy who's competed. These days, at this point in my life, Michael, I'm more impressed, way more impressed by someone who's well-rounded. Like, I mean, I'll give you an example. All right, let's not talk crazy competitive powerlifting, but if you show me a guy who is under 200 pounds, who's got a good run time, right? So here's what I would consider more impressive than, say, an elite powerlifter at this point. How about a guy who could squat 500 pounds, under 200 pounds body weight with a six-pack, who has a good mile run time and can crank out 20 chin-ups or pull-ups? Dude, to me, that's way more impressive than an elite powerlifting total. Why? Because he's well-rounded. He's fit. He looks good. He's athletic. And he's strong. Way more impressed. Right? Mustafa, Jason, any bench or speed work without bands or chains for the bench? Yeah, no, I mean, speed benching, I have conjugate clients who speed bench. But the thing with speed benching I only recommend speed work in the context of a program, of a conjugate rotation. That makes sense. And there's reasons you do that, because you do it to recover and have carryover to your max effort days. I don't advocate speed work outside of a conjugate type program, by the way. I just don't. I don't think it's as useful because of the specifics of what you're doing. And I know I'm kind of tired of doing cardio, so it's not going to come across as clearly. I only use that sort of programming inside of a context of max effort. Yeah. So you don't max out, truly max out once a week on some type of press. I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't do it at all. Just telling you as a coach. Now, if you're not maxing out every week on some sort of press, I wouldn't speed bench. Just do rep work. But I mean, you're also doing sets of 10 with 110 kilos as a lean guy. So I think you're doing pretty good there, honestly. All right. Back over to the YouTubes. But yeah, Michael, I'd be more impressed by what I just described, because at the end of the day, one of them is way more athletic and well-rounded. And are we talking about fitness? Or are we talking about elite powerlifting and just being athletic and crazy fit? All right. Gustavo says, from now on, whenever called a butt press, yeah, I recommend that people don't need to. All right. We can just make lean gains. We can recomp. We can do everything all the time and just get better. We don't need these crazy cuts and bulks that people need to do. Complete waste of time. Complete waste of time, waste of resources. It's not healthy. And it's certainly not optimal. And I think that has to be understood in this situation. I always lose size when I cut fast. I always gain fat when bulking. Exactly. We don't have to do all that. Right? We don't have to do all that, do we? All right. No one else posting in the tubes. Oh, well. Still, overall, I would call this an extremely productive. Hey, Dean, I don't know that I'm going to run it much longer. Did you see all those supers, though? You missed it. I was like, man, that would be the time for Dean to come in and get in a super challenge. We had $25 in supers earlier. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this. I'm getting a little tired and want to go, because I did an hour, 10 minutes walk, and then we're doing this now. All right, but we're live. We had a technical snafu earlier, though. Yes, Dean, we are live. Well, yeah, been a good morning with all of it so far. Okay. All right, Gabriel asked me on the Facebook, I'm getting tired here though, guys. What's your recommendation for someone getting ripped with a large appetite? High satiety foods. You're going to want to keep dietary fat very reasonable, other than healthy fats. Keep it low. Eat as much fiber as you can push down. You may want to consider a little bit of intermittent fasting. But the main thing, the large appetite, again, someone like me who's been over 300 pounds before, look at the satiety index of foods. Eat the most filling foods you can find in large amounts. Lots of vegetables, certain fruits, watermelons, cantaloupe, melons in general, potatoes, starchy carbohydrates, but lots of vegetables and fiber to fill yourself up. Fiber is going to be your best friend, Gabriel. Unless we just got to be realistic about that. Right? You know? But, this is where stuff like the really high satiety carbs come in handy, like potatoes, root vegetables, melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, that stuff's your friend. Lean protein helps up to a certain point. Really lean meat, fat-free dairy, But yeah, fibrous carbohydrates with a high satiety index that fill you up. Did my super chat timer run out of time? I think it did. It did, Dean. We didn't reach the goal, but we made 25. I'm going to put a timer limit on. Well, it requires a limit. I should probably make it much longer than the stream's going to be, though. It makes me put one in. But I could set it for like 2 hours next time. I set it for an hour because I thought we'd be in the clear, and I just set it an hour like I normally do. But apparently we ran past the hour, and the timer kind of chilled. But we got some pretty solid supers. Thank you, Jason. I'll look in the satiety index, higher protein and carbs. Yeah, keep the fat in check. But you can eat, all right, so if you eat fat sources, you eat fat sources that are fibrous, right? Some avocados, some nuts. Be careful. Nut butters are going to kill you, by the way. Nut butters are a problem if you have a voracious appetite, right? But throwing in a few nuts in there. So example, you could eat some oatmeal, high satiety index, eat oats. You could throw some walnuts or some whole nuts in there, and that would do pretty well, right? Because it'll slow absorption down. It still adds some extra fiber, some healthy fats. You can get away with stuff like that. So keep the fat low, but stick to fat sources that have significant amounts of fiber in them, like avocados, walnuts, almonds, things like that, right? Makes sense. Keep the meats super, super lean though, super lean meat. Very lean cuts of red meat or chicken, things like that. I think you'll find that all a lot very helpful. Frederick comes in and says, hey, comes into the rumble stuff. People be adding several hundreds of nuts and nut butter. Dude, nut butters add up real fast. They're really easy to overeat. No, I don't want to talk about other YouTubers, honestly, Frederick. I don't want to run that sort of channel these days. But realistically, is he a fitness influencer? He's a jack fitness influencer at this point. He's not there. There are no natties in these departments. Just stop. So let's just say that anyone making their money off of fitness as a real platform is on drugs. Let's just leave it there and move on. And I think that's a reasonable statement if you're going to gamble. Like if you had to bet your life on it, they're not natty. Done. Next. Only people who had nothing to lose even make these arguments. Everyone knows that if they literally, had their testicles on the chopping block and God knew the answer, is this fitness personality natty or not? And if you get it wrong, I drop the hatchet. Bro, you're screaming not natty every time at that point. Right? Come on, guys. Common sense. Just stop with this nonsense. Well, I agree. Like, why would any fitness personality monetarily stay natural? It's stupid. So what you're saying with a fitness personality who's making their money off of this, if you're asking if they're natty or not, you're asking me, are they stupid? Because if they have 2 brain cells to rub together, they're probably going to take some to increase their income. Just calling it like it is. And the funniest ones are the ones who go in these long explanations. Like, you can tell they're lying. The funny ones, well, I don't know much about it, but they're in the fitness world. And I just feel like for me, it's just probably not the best path. And I've never really looked into it. I don't really know much about it. I don't really know what trend is like these guys. Jesus Christ. You got to look at that and go, wow. Yeah, that sounds totally believable. You're surrounded by 57 juice heads and you don't know anything about it. Well, I've never really looked into it or researched it much. I don't really know the side effects of trend, so I just stay away from this stuff. Like, really, because the gym bros haven't sat there and talked to you about it for hours? The dudes you hang out with who use trend? Come on. Dudes be funny with this stuff. All right. Right? It really is like that, though. Oh, man. All right. I feel like on that note, this one's probably run long enough. I will do another one of these here later. But I love you guys. So I'm going to wind down the Facebook. You might want to make a reel. I don't know. Is he going to want to make a reel? Create a clip. Oh, it wants to create. Let's see if it'll create a reel. It might actually do it. All right. Let's see if it will do it. All right, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time in another one of these here today.